Hey everybody, it's Brian Heater here with PC Mag, the resident comics expert, comics nerd on the staff. Whatever you call it, it's a big honor when you work with a bunch of geeks the way I do. I've been asked by the staff to take a look at some of the comic book apps on the new iPad. Today we're going to take a look at the new Marvel app on here. Really the first major comic app we're seeing on the iPad. Of course, it's got the support of Marvel, which is one of the two major comic book publishers. Very interesting to see the ways in which they've utilized the platform. We've been hearing the last couple months, last couple years, about the ways that ebook readers are going to really sort of revolutionize the industry. We haven't really seen much movement in the ebook space thus far because, honestly, reading a comic book on an ebook reader like, say, the Kindle, not a very good experience. You've got that black and white ink display. It's not very dynamic. Sort of like night and day when you take a look at the Kindle and the iPad. This is an incredibly dynamic device, an incredibly dynamic app, full color, obviously. Right now we're looking at the store. Really impressive back catalog of titles. Looks like the older ones are in the neighborhood of about $199. Right now we're looking at all these old Amazing Spider-Man, Ditko Lee Spider-Man from the early to mid '60s. All the way through these newer titles. These are 1999. We've got these copies of the Joss Whedon's run on the Astonishing X-Men. Some, old Kirby Lee Fantastic Four. I'm assuming that Marvel's gonna keep adding titles as there's the new the newish Civil War book. Bendis' run on Daredevil. As I said, I assume that the company is going to keep on adding back titles, but in the meantime, a lot of comics to catch up on, and it looks like a lot of, if not full runs, then close to full series. So this should keep you going for a while, especially at the $199 download price. The app itself, however, is free. We're going to take a look at this Amazing Spider-Man from 1999, which we downloaded. As you can tell already, incredibly dynamic app. You can advance the pages by flipping through. One of the really cool things, when you zoom in, it's got this panel-by-panel feature. Whoop. So, there we go. It's got a very, as you can sort of tell, very sort of cinematic quality to it. It takes you panel by panel, and in some instances, word bubble by word bubble. Some of the titles at this point obviously are better optimized than others for the format. This is one of them. Really smooth transitions. Honestly, it's it's like a new way to experience the medium. Sort of, I hate to say it, but it's almost meeting them halfway between the comic and the motion comic. So it's still got all the words. It's not doing any of the reading for you. It doesn't have any of that sort of cheap animation, but it really does have sort of a kind of a movie-like quality to it. I found personally that it was a little hard for me to read it like this. Not only do you have to keep clicking through like that, it's also just, for somebody who's been reading comics for a long time, not an especially intuitive experience, but if you flip out like that, you can just read it page by page in the manner of a normal comic, and very readable. I don't know if you can really make it out in this video, but it's very sharp, very clear. And again, okay, so we finished the issue, so it's going to take us to the store. You can buy the full series. You can actually buy a print version of it, which I guess they will send it to you. There's also a store locator on this app. We're going to go back to the online store, though. Very good start. really cool. I would say, one of my favorite apps that I've seen on the iPad thus far. But again, I'm a little partial, being a comics nerd myself. This is really the beginning. I think we're gonna see a lot of new comics apps. I know Comixology has their own app for the iPad right now. What'll be really interesting to see is when the publishers, if and when the publishers and the comics artists themselves really start sort of creating content for the format. So we'll really see the full power of the iPad then. But in the meantime, really good start and a really good way to catch up on back issues. So big thumbs up for the Marvel app on the iPad.